Hello, good afternoon, and welcome. ¿Te gustaría hablar inglés con solo 500 palabras? ¿Te gustaría hablar con la fluidez de un nativo con solo estudiar 10 minutos al día? Pues a mí me gustaría conducir un Lamborghini y casarme con Scarlett Johansson y tampoco va a pasar. There is so much nonsense spoken about learning English. Every year we have some new magical formula, some new magical way of learning English. But you know, there are no magic pills. This is a university, it's not Hogwarts. You know, we can't pick up the magic wand and go, ding, you shall speak English like a native by next Friday. It doesn't happen like that. And anyone who tells you it does is lying. However, that doesn't mean that you can't do things to make yourself more receptive to learning English. In a sense, what you have to do is to hack your brain. Let me explain. There is around every person an area where they feel comfortable. Inside that circle, there'll be your significant other, your wife, your husband, maybe your family dog. There'll be the places you like to go on holiday, your favorite food, maybe your favorite music. There'll be the local cinema, some of the friends who you play paddle with, and they're all inside this really nice family circle. And this is called your comfort zone. Everyone has a comfort zone. I have a comfort zone. My comfort zone includes my mandolin, my Shakespeare collection, my girlfriend, Indian food. I really like chicken tikka masala. And as human nature is being what it is, I never go outside of that comfort zone. I very rarely go outside of that comfort zone. Because outside that comfort zone is the big grey circle. And this is where things begin to get a little bit complicated. You go outside of your comfort zone and you begin to feel a bit, no sé yo, no, esto inglés es un poco, I don't know. You start to worry, you start to feel unsure. Everything that you relied on isn't there anymore. And you think, oh. And then that's when your brain starts playing these tricks and it starts saying stupid things to you like, bueno, es que los españoles y los idiomas, nosotros y el inglés, no. It's a game that your brain plays on you. There is no reason why Spanish people cannot learn English. It is nonsense, this idea that somehow there's some kind of genetic thing that prevents you learning English. I mean, come on. Change the word Spanish for any other nationality, and it just sounds stupid. So hack your brain. Refuse to accept this received information. What you have to do, ladies and gentlemen, is step outside of your comfort zone, because that's where the magic happens. If you want to learn another language, you have to be comfortable with feeling uncomfortable. And this isn't just Spanish people learning English. It's the same a Russian person learning Japanese, a Canadian learning Swahili. Whatever language you're learning, whatever new experience you want, whatever new knowledge you want, it's there waiting for you outside your comfort zone. And what happens is, if you go into that grey area enough times, you'll find that your comfort zone grows, which means you grow as a person, you grow as a student, you have more knowledge, you're more comfortable with more knowledge, you've actualized yourself, which is a great thing. So just get used to the idea that feeling uncomfortable, not understanding everything, it's fine. Actually, it's good. It's good. The day you understand everything, well, I'm out of a job. So remember, what we're doing here, we're trying to understand how our psychology works, how our comfort zone works, and you need to be outside it. Now, what do you need to be able to survive in this hostile environment and that grey circle? Well, a lot of people say that you need discipline. Yeah, you must, I'm sure, when you were in your secondary school, there was a discipline, discipline, discipline. Learn that list of verbs. You must know the past perfect of all the verbs. Well, no. It's not about discipline. Learning is not about discipline. Please assimilate this idea. It's about motivation. You would get up at 4 o'clock every morning and run 3 kilometers in the freezing cold if you were motivated enough. Now, how do we motivate ourselves to learn, in this case, English? Well, questions. We have to ask ourselves questions. I don't know how many hundreds of students we've got here from all over the world, but I would like all of you to do this. Ask yourself now, what do you want? It sounds like a silly question. What do you really want? Do you really want to learn English? Or do you just want to have a better job? Or do you just want to be able to travel? Do you want to learn English? Why do you want to learn English? How will you know when you have it? Lots of people say to me, oh yeah, this is the year I'm going to learn English. And I always ask them, how do you know? How will you know when you've learned English? Because some people will want to have an English where they speak with the same sort of received pronunciation as Prince Charles. Other people will just want to have enough English so that they can teach a primary school class English. Other people will want enough English to be able to go to some conference and not make a fool of themselves. So everybody's destination is different. Everybody is different. What do you want? Why do you want it? How will you know when you have it? And you will go back to these questions all the time you're studying English. You'll go back to these questions and maybe the answers will change. But it's very important so that you will open those books and you will attend our fantastic English classes. It's very important that you're very clear what you are doing and why. So, you can all write here on the chat down at the bottom of the screen. Tell me, start sending me some chat messages. Why are you learning English? Someone has to be first. For work, Pablo, for work. Yeah, excellent, because nowadays everybody needs English for a decent job. I've even seen jobs where you don't actually need English, but they insist that you have English. It's kind of some kind of badge of honor these days. Ah, Susanna, for travel. Isn't it great? Isn't it great when you come down from the aeroplane in a foreign country and you can communicate with everybody because everybody's speaking English? It's great. It completely transforms the holiday experience, and it makes sure that you get the meals you want and the drinks you want. And Joanna, because today it's very important, it is very important. English is the language of diplomacy. It's the language of pilots, of navigators. It's the language of rock and roll. Wherever you go, you'll come across English, and being able to be a competent user of English is a tremendous, tremendous thing to be able to do. And not everybody will do it. So the fact that you're here today with me means that you really want this. So you've taken the first step on a great journey. English is fantastic. Yep, you're right, Em. Are you working for a big company? And because it's universal, yeah. So I think we all agree that whether it's for travel or for jobs, English is terribly important. So that's why it's important to know why you're learning it. There's something you can do. There's a trick you can do. We're talking about hacking your brain. You can travel in time. You can travel in time, and you can borrow, tomar prestado, you can borrow confidence from your future self. what it means is this. One day, maybe not now, but one day when you're alone and there are no distractions, sit down in a comfortable chair and imagine that you speak perfect English. Imagine those situations where in the past you couldn't speak English, but now you can. Imagine walking through the airport with no problem. Imagine going to some multinational conference with your boss next to you and you are speaking fantastic English. Imagine it. Imagine the sights and the sounds and the smells of a perfectly English-speaking you from the future. Feels good. And when you do that, when you can see the end destination, that will help you along the journey. If there are times when maybe you're a bit tired, you've just put the kids to bed and, oh, I don't really want to study English, borrow the confidence from your future self and it will help you over those little difficult patches when perhaps your energy is a bit low. Hack the brain. The Chinese have been doing it for centuries. So, we're coming to the good bit. Tips. Tips, do you know the word tips? Tips are little bits of advice that I've picked up over 22 years of teaching English. I've taught every kind of person. I've taught some politicians, I've taught some famous people, I've taught a little girl, 5 years old, who all she wanted to be was a fairy. I've taught soldiers who wanted to be generals. I've taught all kinds of people all over this part of the world. And these are some of the things which I think might be able to help in studying English. Okay, now you are sitting at your computer monitors, maybe some of you in your living rooms, some of you in your bedrooms, maybe a few of you in the office, and I guarantee most of you will have your telephone very close. I want you all now, I'm serious, pick up your telephone, find settings, ajustes. No, come on, you two in Mexico, pick up your telephone, thank you. Go to ajustes and change the language. Change the language. It sounds like a silly thing, but if every time you pick up your telephone and you have to navigate around your telephone in English, it's a little message to your brain saying, this thing about English is serious. Vamos en serio. If you have a tablet, if you have a, what's it called, the iPad, change the language, because if you use Siri, that voice-activated robot thing that iPad has, he or she will talk to you in English. And it's a great way to just make sure your brain is always ready for English. Do the same with your television at home, the configuration for the television. Change the language to English. Any application, any device, diapositiva that you have, change it to English. You're sending a message to your brain going, todo en inglés, todo en inglés. Listening. Now, people are always asking me, what's the best way to improve my listening? Well, you will not be surprised to hear that the best way to improve your listening is by listening. Now, for me, the best radio station on the planet is BBC Radio 4. You can see on the screen the URL, the web address for BBC Radio 4. And BBC Radio 4 is good because 90% of its programs are people talking. The majority of these people who are talking are highly intelligent people. So they have a very big vocabulary, a very wide vocabulary. And this is the BBC. So you have people from all over the English-speaking world. You have Irish, Welsh, Scottish, Canadians, Africans, Australians, people from Hong Kong, people from India. You have a wonderful variety of English accents. When you're having breakfast in the morning, on internet, put on Radio 4. There's a very good program at breakfast time called the Today program, which looks at the news. Just have it there in the background. Don't start making notes at all. Just have the English there in the air in the background. And you'll find that over a few months, your intonation, your pronunciation, and your ability to distinguish words will improve. So instead of putting on you know, the Spanish television and finding out whether Ronaldo or Messi have won whatever it is, the latest football competition, or whether Real Sociedad scored 6 goals. Use that breakfast time as English time. Use your time well. Okay, now I once worked for an academy in the north, and in this academy they had the student room, and all along one wall they had the library. And up here you had the complete works of William Shakespeare. Over here you had Charles Dickens, I think most of his novels. Here you had Tennyson. Oh, you had the Romantic poets, of course. And oh, look, there we have Chaucer and Emily Bronte, Jane Austen. Incredible. They had the entire history of English literature in that academy. It was incredible. Absolutely useless, but it was incredible. Wow, all that English literature. Who says that because you want to learn English, you're interested in English literature? It doesn't make any sense. If you want to learn English for your job, Pedro, that doesn't mean you want to read a novel by Charles Dickens. So don't fall into this trap of thinking that English language learning is the same as English literature. It's not. I love English literature, but it's not because I love English. It's a separate subject completely. So, if you want to read, well, read something else. If you don't want to read Shakespeare, if you don't want to read Charles Dickens, get a magazine. You won't be surprised to hear that the Hola magazine in English is called Hello. Read a magazine. If you're interested in computers, we'll get PC Monthly. If you're interested in cars, horses, gardens, food, embroidery, three-dimensional chess, physics, quantum physics, there's a magazine for all the possible interests humanity can have. And why is reading a magazine good for you? Because, one, it's an area that you're interested in, so you'll be motivated. And two, an article is shorter than a book, so you will have a sense of completion, a sense of satisfaction, a lot quicker than if you're trying to force your way through a book. So I really do recommend reading magazines. You can get them in, if you can't get them in your local city centre news outlets, Amazon, amazon.co.uk, and you can probably get everything from there. I'm reading some of your comments here. Yes, that's right, Pablo. Yeah, una revista. Oh, of course, blogs. You can practice your reading. There's all kinds of blogs on internet. Learning English now is completely different to what it was 10 years ago. Never give up. Never give up. Oh, I like that. I like your what do we say in English? Your sense of motivation, Beatriz. Your ánimo. Excellent. No, never give up. Yeah, and you can ask. Si tenéis preguntas, ponme unas preguntas aquí, y si soy capaz, contestaré vuestras preguntas. Okay, subtitles. The truth. There are some teachers who say, mira, pon un peli en inglés, y si no entiendes, pon los subtítulos en castellano. Y no pasa nada, está bien. It's a lie. If you want to watch an English video to improve your English, don't use Spanish subtitles. Please don't use Spanish subtitles. If you put Spanish subtitles, your English will not improve. Even if I'm watching a film in English and there are Spanish subtitles, I start reading the subtitles. It's natural because we are so programmed to read that you can't help it. You know, you might have George Clooney acting his heart out, but you'll be reading in Spanish because your eyes go to the words. I can prove this. I can prove this right now. I'm going to show you 3 words. I'm going to show you 3 words, one on top of each other. And what I want you to do is I want you to tell me, what colours do you see? ¿Ok? Los colores que habéis visto son rojo, azul y verde. Pero seguro que no era tan fácil para vosotros porque vuestros ojos han visto las palabras. And you read because you are so programmed to read. Y es el mismo con los subtítulos. Estás tan programado a leer que no vas a hacer caso al inglés. Si quieres utilizar subtítulos, subtítulos en inglés. Sí, señor, subtítulos en inglés. No problem. Si me estás preguntando una cosa, ¿todo el curso está en inglés? Pues oye, los cursos que tenemos aquí son muy buenos, porque nosotros tenemos filólogos de inglés altamente qualified. Estos son gente que han aprendido inglés desde cero hasta un nivel de ser filólogos en inglés. Cuando yo hablo con esta gente, ellos saben más que yo sobre inglés. Es increíble. Entonces, si tú haces uno de nuestros cursos, vas a estar con un profesor que entiende perfectamente lo que es aprender inglés. Así que, en mi opinión, si tienes un nivel B1, ya es hora que todo está en inglés. A1, A2, que son niveles de principiantes, vale, en castellano también. Pero B1 ya, el asunto va en serio, ya es hora de pensar en inglés. Recuerda lo que dije al principio, hay que saltar un poquito de tu zona de confort, de your comfort zone. Si tú sientes incómodo, no es malo, es muy bueno, es muy bueno. Así que, por favor, que no pierdas el ánimo, porque no entiendes todo. Porque, ¿sabes? Un profesor, tú dices al profesor, hey, a ver, que no entiendo nada, explícame esto, por favor. Y con mucho gusto el profesor te va a explicar. Pero acepta que un poco sensación de incómodo es normal. Porque, en el fondo, estamos aquí para reducir las palabras en castellano y aumentar las palabras en inglés, ¿no? Pero no desanimes. En serio, esto es un viaje, una aventura fantástico. Y seguro que hay gente ahí y estás pensando, sí, pero él está hablando a esta gente que tiene un don de idiomas, esta gente que siempre hay un listillo que entiende todos los idiomas, pero yo soy especialmente mal. Yo tengo una debilidad muy fuerte con los idiomas. Todo el mundo piensa en esto. Everybody thinks that they are the worst. Don't worry. We are experts at teaching English. La Escuela de Idiomas de UNIR somos expertos. Estamos rodeados por filólogos ingleses que entienden cada paso que hay que tomar. ¿Cómo puedo mejorar speaking? Eso es Ana, muchas gracias por esta pregunta. Dices que estás un poco tímida, ¿no? Y sí. Entiendo perfectamente. Yo vine aquí en 1992, el año de las Olimpiadas de Barcelona, ¿recuerdas? Esto. Y yo aprendí castellano en la calle, que no fui a... tenía un libro que era castellano en 3 meses, todavía tengo. Y yo estaba, por ejemplo, en una parada de autobús, y yo estaba así, y yo estaba rezando, estaba diciendo, por favor, que nadie me hable, por favor, que nadie me hable. Tremendamente tímido. Aprendí un truco. Luego, Ana, voy a enseñarte un truco para sentir que tienes más confianza en la hora de hablar. Se llama anchoring, y un poquito más tarde te voy a explicar, te va a encantar. Y Juan me pregunta, ¿podría decirme cuáles son los trucos para aprender inglés, pero en español? Esto es un poco como, explícame cómo puedo freír este filete de ternera en una manera vegetariana, ¿no? Es que entiendo Entiendo por qué quieres el castellano. Entiendo. Quieres esto porque quieres sentir cómodo, quieres sentir en control. Normal. Pero Juan, tengo una pregunta para ti. Cuando aprendiste castellano, ¿en qué idioma aprendiste castellano? Ninguno, porque no tenías. You didn't have another language, you had a baby head. And what happened? You listened, you heard a lot of Spanish, mucho castellano, y mirando ya, bueno, a ver, y mamá, papá, y poco a poco, con poco más coraje, intentaste decir algo. Y había una reacción, positivo o negativo. Y así, poco a poco, pues si digo hambre, pues me dan a comer. Esta palabra, muy importante. Y sabes que tú aprendiste castellano en plan natural. Escuchando un montón de castellano y luego intentando y fracasando y aprendiendo del fracaso hasta que tú hablaste castellano perfectamente. Juan, tú hablaste castellano perfectamente antes que tu primera clase de lengua. Tú hablaste castellano perfectamente antes que habías visto la palabra gramática. Y si funciona para castellano, ¿por qué no funciona para inglés? I understand. You want control. It's normal. It's human nature. We want the comfort zone. But just aguanta un poquito de sentir inseguro y ya verás los resultados. Juan, te juro, garantizado, si tú sales del comfort zone, aprenderás. Mónica, hola. Yo sé un montón de gramática, me dice, pero a la hora de hablar no soy capaz de dar consejos. In your class, the difficult situation. You're an uncomfortable situation because my English teacher is from Scotland. Is it uncomfortable because she's Scottish? Just asking. And she doesn't know any Spanish words. That's great. You are so lucky. What's the better way to study those? Okay, there's a lot of people here talking about a la hora de hablar and la timidez. Pues, let's have a look. We'll come to mind maps later. I'm going to tell you how to deal with the feelings of being timid, the feelings of shyness. Cómo no sentir tan tímida. Esto es para Ana. Antes Ana me dijo que tiene problemas de hablar porque es un poco nerviosa, un poco tímida. Perfectamente natural. Hablar en tu segundo idioma, al principio, impresiona. Pues mira, hay una cosa llamada anchoring. Y quiero hacer esto con todos vosotros. Esto es la primera vez en Open Class en directo. Quiero hacer una cosa llamada anchoring. ¿Okay? Necesito que quites el teléfono, que me estáis mirando un rato. Y quiero explicar una cosa. Miras este punto del mano. Este punto. Se llama knuckle. This is a knuckle. This is important. Lo que voy a hacer, os voy a decir unas cosas y quiero que sigas mis instrucciones. Y cuando digo now, quiero que aplicáis un poco de presión a esta parte de tu mano izquierda. Estáis pensando, pero esto no es una clase de inglés, ¿qué es esto? Esto es raro. Por favor, bear with me, stay with me. Voy a daros unas explicaciones y cuando digo now, quiero que tocáis, poner un poco de presión en esta parte del cuerpo. ¿Vale? ¿Intentamos? Ok. Sit nice and relaxed. Muy relajados. Cierra los ojos. No, en serio. Cierra los ojos. Yo sé que soy muy guapo en la pantalla, pero por favor, cierra los ojos y escúcheme. Quiero que pensáis atrás en vuestras vidas. Me gustaría que pensáis en un momento en el pasado cuando estabais perfectamente tranquilos. Cuando estabas muy poderoso. Quiero que recordáis un momento cuando todo estaba saliendo fenomenal para ti. Y quiero que entras este momento, entre este recuerdo. ¿Qué puedes oler? Estabas en un parque, hay un olor de hierba, o estabas en una habitación, tiene un olor especial. ¿Y qué sonidos puedes oír? Igual puedes oír el tráfico muy lejos, igual unos pájaros muy cerca. Y la temperatura era agradable. Quiero que utilices tus 5 sentidos para entrar en este momento. Estabas poderosa, estabas tranquilo, todo estaba saliendo fenomenal. Ahora me gustaría que aumentas esta sensación, multiplicar esta sensación por 10. Ok, now, toca la mano. Y queda ahí dentro de esta sensación, queda ahí dentro de este momento, queda ahí dentro de esta memoria, este recuerdo aumentado 10 veces cuando estás muy poderoso, muy tranquilo y tú eres el rey o la reina de todo lo que ves. Ok, ahora abre los ojos y vuelve del pasado. Esto se llama anchoring. Lo que hemos hecho es un ejemplo muy rápido de la técnica. Si tú cada día dedicas 5 minutos de esto, vuelves a este momento en el pasado, cuando estabas muy tranquilo, muy poderoso, y vas a entrar con más facilidad cada vez, y luego, cuando estás en una situación, Ana, o Pablo, Mónica, cuando estabas un poco nerviosa, si estás hablando, pues toca esta parte del cuerpo. He elegido esta parte del cuerpo porque puedes tocar así y nadie va a darse cuenta. Y tú haces esto. Y cada vez que tocas esta parte del cuerpo, vas a entrar en este estado de tranquilidad, de poder, y vas a sentir mucho más confianza a la hora de hablar inglés. Tienes que dedicar unos minutos cada día para crear esta sensación y funciona. Se llama anchoring. Who's talking about the relaxing cup of café con leche? Very good. Yes, a relaxing cup of café con leche is always a good idea. Best way to study verbs. How to learn phrasal verbs. I'm going to come to phrasal verbs in a moment. There's so much I want to get through here. Okay, Monica, if that anchoring thing doesn't help you feel more relaxed, again, it's a question of the comfort zone. Just try and put yourself in situations where you have to speak English. Remember, nobody is expecting you to speak English like Princess Diana. Nobody. We're so grateful, we're so happy, estamos tan agradecidos que quieres hablar nuestro idioma, que si tienes algún problema en hablar, es normal, pero esta sensación de dificultad, esta sensación de sentir incómodo es muy positiva, y esta sensación de no puedo hablar, no dura, no dura mucho tiempo, créeme. In your class, have you speaking? Sí, esto es importante. En unir no es e-learning. Mucha gente me dice, ¿tú trabajas en unir? Y digo, sí. Y digo, ¿esto es e-learning? Y yo, no. Unir no es e-learning. Unir es educación a distancia. Lo que no vamos a hacer es enviarte un montón de ejercicios que están corregidos por el ordenador. Somos online. Humanamente, we are humanly online. So yes, you will have a chance for some speaking. We have speaking classes. In fact, now at the moment, ahora yo estoy dando un curso, un seminario sobre conversación en inglés. Así que vas a tener oportunidades de hablar con unir, pero también mi consejo es que buscas otras oportunidades también. Hay muchas oportunidades por internet, puedes hacer un intercambio. Si quieres mejorar tu inglés hablado, aparte de nuestros cursos donde te damos las pautas con mucho cuidado, ¿por qué no vas a buscar un guiri? Hay muchos guiris en España que necesitan aprender inglés y un intercambio. Yo aprendí castellano de mi manera con un intercambio. Yo quedé 2 veces la semana con una chica que quería inglés y el martes hablamos en inglés y ella me hizo todas las preguntas sobre el inglés y el jueves me toca a mí y yo preguntando todas las preguntas en castellano. Y esa situación win-win. Los dos ganáis, nadie tiene que pagar nada, pues igual por una caña, y funciona muy bien. Buscad todas las oportunidades que podéis para hablar, pero sí, en unir también tenemos clases de conversación. How to learn phrasal verbs, Beatriz, mira, voy a ir más rápido. Acting, pushback. Phrasal verbs don't exist, Beatriz. El primer paso para aprender phrasal verbs es aceptar que no existen. ¿Sabes? Lo que existen son multi-word verbs, verbos compuestos de más de una palabra. Es que hay una cosa que ha pasado en España que como phrasal verbs, como hacen zombies, yo soy un phrasal verb, te voy a matar. No sé de dónde viene este, mira, a ver, look up, look into, son phrasal verbs. Pero no vamos a usar esta expresión anymore, es muy anticuado. The multi-word verbs, look up, look into, look up, look into. Y significan cosas distintas. Look up es buscar información en un directorio. Look into, investigar. Sherlock Holmes looks into a lot of mysteries. Ok, ¿qué es la diferencia? Up, into. Look up, look into. For me, they sound very different. Suenan como palabras muy distintas. Y nosotros cuando aprendemos castellano, deber, es que la diferencia es dar la vuelta a una letra. Pero sabemos que deber significa una cosa y beber significa otra cosa. Al principio no, al principio hacemos errores como todos. Pero esta cosa que phrasal verbs son especialmente difíciles, es un mito. Y toda la gente que llegan a C1 miran a los que están en B1 y dicen, phrasal verbs. I don't know why. In English we have verbs, okay? We have verbs. 2 types of verbs. One-word verbs and multi-word verbs. And the process is the same. You learn what the verb means. ¿Qué significa esta palabra o estas palabras? Si vas a hacer listas, Beatriz, si vas a hacer listas de verbos, aquí un truco. No pones una lista de todos los multi-word verbs que empiezan con look. Look up, look into, look after. No. Elige el partículo, por ejemplo, on, y piensa en todos los multi-word verbs que terminan en on. Put on, hang on, run on, etc. Y así son más fáciles de asimilar. Pero phrasal verbs es este cuento de los hermanos Grimm, ¿no? del emperador y la ropa nueva, que no existe, en serio. Olvida esta historia de horror de phrasal verbs. How are we doing? Where are you from, Mr. Donald? Thank you for the Mr. That's very elegant. Well, where am I from? I am Irish, but I was born in England. My family are Irish, or my relatives are Irish. I went to an Irish school in England. I feel Irish. I have an Irish passport. I sing Irish songs. But my accent is what would be called educated Northern. I have an educated Northern English accent, which confuses people me included. What other questions do we have? Where are you from? Okay, why do you... Okay, right. Oh, let me tell you this story. Time is running out. There's so much I wanted to share with you. We must do this again. I was in San Sebastian in the north, and I could not speak Spanish at all. And one day, I was very hungry, and I'd managed to learn un cuarto de carne picada, por favor. This was my big mission of the day, because I'd been eating sausages for 2 weeks. My big mission was un cuarto de carne picada, por favor. So, I went along. I went into the shop, the butcher's shop, la carnicería. Y viene el hombre y me dice, hola, ¿qué hay? And I'm thinking, wait a minute, it's his shop, and he's asking me ¿qué hay? And I'm thinking, ¿qué tengo que decir? Me dice ¿qué hay? Pues no sé. Bueno, salchichas, filetes, no sé. It was a nightmare. I didn't understand, and I'm not sure I do now. So sometimes the question why, it doesn't help. Yeah? Why do people say ¿qué hay when you walk into their shop? I still don't know, but it kind of means hello. Más o menos significa hola. Entonces, si yo entro la carnicería y él dice, hola, ¿qué hay? Y yo digo, hola. Everything's great. It doesn't matter why. What matters, lo importante, es qué pasa con esta palabra. ¿Qué pasa si digo esto? Es el mismo cuando aprendes de niño. ¿Qué pasa si digo esto? So don't become too obsessed with understanding why. Sometimes it can be helpful. But for example, the first thing you learn in English, it's how do you do? How do you do? We say how do you do? We ask a question, and the correct response is another question, and why? ¿Sabes por qué? Pues si algún día encuentras la respuesta, envíame un email, porque llevo medio siglo hablando inglés y no tengo ni idea. Why is a philosophical question. Why do we exist? What is the meaning of life? But in studying English, it's not particularly a useful question. My colleague Elena, she's the director of coordinator of the Escuela de Idiomas, is answering some of your questions in the chat. And like everything here, we're dedicated to giving you all the information you need before you make any decisions about if you want to study with us. We'd love to see you here. We really would. It's 2 o'clock. Time has flown. I arrived a bit late because of the technical. I was taken up in un vórtice de tiempo y espacio, and I didn't arrive at the classroom. Hay tantas cosas que quería explicar también. Pronunciation. Today, later on, I think at 5 o'clock today, we have a masterclass. And it's about neuroscience, neurociencia y pronunciación en inglés. If you go to unir.net, you can see all the information about this. Neuroscience and English pronunciation. That being said, if anybody tells you, si alguien te dice que esto es el pronunciación inglés correcto, diles, por mi parte, que están profundamente equivocados. Por ejemplo, I have a sort of educated Northern English accent, but my friend Joe is from Scotland, and he also speaks very good English, but with a different accent. And my friend Gareth has a very good accent, and he's from Wales, he's from Swansea. But you tell Gareth that he's not speaking proper English, and you'll have a terrible problem. Or in Australia, people talk like this all the time. Watch ya, good eye sport, or speak perfect English. What I'm saying is there are so many people in the world who speak English as a first language that there's no such thing as perfect pronunciation. It doesn't exist. It's an illusion. We have this thing called, I don't know, called received pronunciation, which is very useful. But Beatriz, Anna, Pablo, Carlos, if I meet you, I want to hear that you're Spanish. I don't want to hear you speaking like Sean Connery or like Prince Charles. That'd be creepy. There's nothing wrong with sounding Spanish if you're Spanish. There's nothing wrong with sounding French if you're French. There's nothing wrong with me sounding English when I speak Spanish. I podría mejorarlo. But what I'm saying is the important thing is a language exists for two reasons. Number one, to think. Number two, to communicate. If people understand what you're saying and they're not thinking about how you're saying it, then that's fine. Si la gente te entienden lo que dices y no están pensando en cómo lo dices, misión cumplido. Si es que no quieres tener una pronunciación, perfecto, puedes estudiar fonética y fonología, es un mundo maravilloso. Pero para ser un usuario de inglés competente y bueno, en mi opinión, no es tan importante que pensamos a veces. Pero si tienes interés en neurociencia y pronunciación, hoy a las 5 va a ser una maravilla. Oh, right, this is the last thing. Mira, ¿sabes lo que voy a hacer? Yo voy a decir a los poderes aquí unir, voy a pedirles si podemos reunir otro día y seguimos hablando, porque yo creo que tenéis muchas cosas, muchas preguntas, y yo tengo muchas cosas que quiero compartir con vosotros. Pero voy a terminar con un punto final. It's possible to be correct and incorrect at the same time. Es posible hablar en inglés perfecto, pero estar equivocado. Tú sientes ahora sobre tus habilidades en inglés, que piensas que no vas a entender nada, y que estás hundido en tantas palabras y todo esto. El mismo me pasó con castellano. Te juro, por favor, es un acto de fe. Pero tú haces este acto y aprendes inglés y es un viaje maravilloso. Y por un poco de esfuerzo, los beneficios son tremendos. Así que si vais a sacar una cosa de este Open Class, por favor, haz un poco de compromiso con este viaje con inglés, porque es maravilloso. De verdad, es un idioma genial. Y también no hay ninguna ley que dice que no puedes pasarlo bien aprendiéndolo, ¿no? Bueno, amigos, me encantaría quedarme más, pero no puedo. Si tenéis preguntas, aquí estamos. Estamos dispuestos a explicar todo lo que queréis sobre nuestros cursos de inglés y sobre nuestra escuela de idiomas. Es la hora de comer. Venga, to eat. Thank you very, very much. Bye-bye.